Today we're going to go for a walkie and we're going to go for a swimmy with Zanzi, my dog. Yes, he's learned how to walk, he's now swimming, he's doing all these things. He's a year old and he absolutely loves water. But of course, when he jumps into the water, he's no fear whatsoever because he can swim so confidently. And we're going to learn some lessons about swimming and deep water. Before that, let's sing the song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Jesus is the light, I'm going to let him shine. Jesus is the light, I'm going to let him shine. Jesus is the light, I'm going to let him shine. Let him shine, let him shine, let him shine. I will stomp my feet and I will clap my hands and shout, shout. I will run around and I'll jump off the ground and shout, shout. I will stomp my feet and I will clap my hands and shout, shout. I will run around and I'll jump off the ground and shout, shout. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And I will stomp my feet, and I will clap my hands and shout, shout. I will run around and I'll jump off the ground and shout, shout. Jesus is the light, I'm gonna let him shine. Jesus is the light, I'm gonna let him shine. Jesus is the light, I'm gonna let him shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Brilliant song. Jesus is the light, I'm going to let him shine. Here we go, we're going to see the video. G'day boys and girls, it's Colin back again with Zanzi, my little dog. He's now 1 year old. 1 year old, he's full of life, full of energy, really well trained, really obedient. Sit. Zanzi, drop. He knows how to sit really well. We've got our gun, so we'll start with the shorter one, just to test retrieving. Then we're going to go swimming today. I really like this machine here. Whoa, Zanzi loves it. You ready, Zanzi? When you hear the bang, you're going to go? Bang! Good boy, good boy, good boy. Right to my feet, and that's what you want every time. Eyeing the ball, right to the feet. So lessons of obedience are important. Whenever we bring, he's not on the lead, so he doesn't take off. He needs to be able to trust me. I need to be able to trust him that he doesn't take off. He's full of energy. He loves to run. But whenever we're playing ball, his eye must be in the ball to see where the ball goes at all times. Just watch him. He's fully focused. The paw's up. We also learn to shake hands. Sandy, be friendly. Give me a paw. Give me a paw. See? He loves to shake hands. Good boy, Zanzi. How are you today? You happy? Yes? Ready to play ball? You ready to run?
Ah. Okay, ready? Here we go. Fetch the ball. Zanzi loves water. And I thought, you see Zanzi swimming? For a dog to swim, it's a natural instinct. Zanzi, here boy. He just loves the water. When you get him into the water, it's nearly impossible to get him back out again. He just loves water. And he's no fear of water whatsoever. And boys and girls, this reminds me of children, because rivers are the most wonderful playtime in the summertime for children to play by a river. But it's also one of the most dangerous places you can be if you can't swim. Sometimes you can walk along the river if it's shallow, but you just don't know where the river's going to go deep. Maybe there's a deep hole or a deep pool, or maybe there's a current within the river if there's been a lot of rain. Now for a dog, Zanzi, you ready? What's his instinct? He just watches me the whole time because he wants to know, am I going to throw the ball? And watch his speed as he goes up the river. Ready, Zanzi? Go. He just swims and also walks. And out he comes and back in again. A dog can be in a river for a long time, and whenever I think of Zanzi, you might think, why does a dog not get cold? Sometimes kids like to wear wetsuits because they get cold. But for a dog's got two layers. Some dogs have got two layers, an outer and an inner. And the outer gets wet, but the inner stays dry to keep the dog warm. He can spend hours in a cold river and he doesn't even feel the cold. That's the way God created this dog. Our dogs, especially a gun dog or a field trial dog like this, or a sports dog, because they're used to being in the wet grass, the wet fields, or the river, and they can swim for hours, running back and forward, swimming, retrieving, and they can work all day long. He never seems to get tired from morning to night. He can just run, full of energy. And of course, whenever you bring him into the house, he's totally quiet. He likes to sleep. He likes to be really well behaved. But when he gets outside into the open field on a really good day, his tail never stops wagging. He's such a happy dog. But the lesson today for me, whenever I take my dogs now swimming, I don't need to be afraid of Zanzi going into deep water, because he's conquered fear. I remember whenever we took Zanzi for a walk by the river, I wondered, will my dog ever swim, or will he be afraid of water? Some dogs are afraid of water and they never conquer that fear. And if they don't conquer it when they're young, as they get older, they'll never go into the water because they're always afraid. But thankfully, Zanzi, when he was young, he was able to conquer that fear. And I remember I was so excited. He just looked and he just looked and he just walked and he walked, and suddenly he just jumped into the water and he began to swim, and it was so exciting. And for that moment, there was no turning back for Zanzi. But I thought I had to watch him, because suddenly a little puppy could go into deep water and maybe get tired quickly, but he's fully grown now, he's full of energy, and no matter if he's in a sea, we take him often to the beach, to the sea, or to big rivers or small rivers, and he's no fear whatsoever of going into the water. Sometimes Zanzi used to panic because he couldn't get up the bank, and you could feel him yelping. But as he got older and stronger, he would realise he has to swim further to find a place to get up, because he always wants to be by his master. And that's a lesson in life. And everything I want to be beside God, and I want to please God with my life. Even though sometimes we can naturally drift far away from God, you always want to keep coming back again. So Zanzi knows now to go down there a little bit, then he'll climb up. The amazing me here, Zanzi's completely soaking wet. I never dry him. He knows to dry himself. He just knows to lick and lick and lick himself. He's got a really strong tongue. And even though he come out, he's completely soaking wet. Underneath, he's dry. Oh, Zanzi! And with his tongue, he'll lick and lick for himself for a couple of hours non-stop until he's completely dry. And no matter how dirty he is, how wet he is, he just knows to wash himself by with his tongue. He licks and he licks and he licks with his wee tongue. And he's no fear. You ready to go again? Okay, gonna throw it, you gonna jump? Here we go. Go, go. Whoa! Boys and girls, one lesson I would encourage you to do whenever you're young is learn to swim, especially in the summertime. If you go on holidays in the swimming pools, or you go by the sea or by rivers and you're playing, if you can swim, it's great. You don't have to be afraid then of the deep water because you can swim to safety. But if you can't swim and you fall in, so many children and adults have had accidents by water. They can't swim and ultimately end up drowning. The Bible even talks about people swimming. The Apostle Paul was in a shipwreck and he told everyone, swim to the island. And if everybody swims to the island, nobody will drown, everyone will be rescued. So quite often, even the Bible times, people were swimming, they were in deep water and shallow water. But swimming's very important. A dog can naturally take the water and swim, but human beings can't. They need to learn. They need to be taught how to swim. And whenever it's like riding a bike. If you've never been taught how to ride a bike, there's a good chance you'll fall off it because there's a balancing act. And once you conquer riding a bike, you can ride a bike over any type of ground for as long as you are able to be fit to do that. It's like swimming. If you're fit and you can swim, then you can swim quite a distance, or you can tread water as well. But if you can't swim, you've got a fear of being afraid of water. And just like a dog naturally does this, a human being does not naturally do that. And also reminds me of the way to God. People think naturally if they're good enough they'll be with God forever in heaven, but that's not the way God works. He says because of human nature we're all born with sin. That means we're separated from God forever. And unlike a dog takes to water naturally, because of our human nature we automatically do wrong. We've got bad thoughts, and this is called sin. And that's a big picture of God, the big picture of the Bible, the big picture of God's love. And God so loved the world, the Bible says he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And no matter if I throw a stick or throw a ball, Zanzi wants any excuse to go into the water. Every time we come to this field right by our house, Zanzi loves to run around the field, but you can always see he's always edging, please take me to the water. And that's always a good lesson too, children. You should never go to water unless your parents or unless there's an adult there to supervise you and to watch you and to watch over you, because if you get into trouble, they will be there to pull you out. And that's a big picture of God as well. God says, when people become a Christian, it's not just about going to heaven. It's about knowing God's with you. He wants to keep you safe. He wants to protect you. But he's given us wisdom. He's given us brains as well, and wisdom is learning how to swim and to take away the fear of cold water, the fear of conquering water. And once you can swim, there's nothing as delightful as jumping into a river or jumping into a swimming pool or running into the sea and just swimming in deep water. It's a really, really good achievement. It takes away fear, and quite often the opposite to fear is fear not. And the Bible has at least 366 times, one for every day of the year, when God says fear not. People are afraid, they worry about so much, and God says, why do you continually worry when I want you to put your trust in me? I don't want you to be afraid, I don't want you to fear, and I want you to trust in me completely. So just like a little dog trusted me to bring him to the river, to watch over him, to look after him, to spend time with him, if I was to walk away, very quickly Zanzi would notice and he would come walking after me. And if I was to stay all day by the river, he would be happy. And the way the wee dog's paws are made to be able to swim, it's amazing, and reminds me again of God's creation and its absolute perfection, the way he's made a wee dog to be able to swim doggy style with his wee paws all going at the same time, just swimming and treading the water. So let's go and see Zanzi to see what he wants to do now.
Whoa, sometimes with a dog it can make you very impatient. You have to be patient with the dog. You've got good days, bad days, really good days. When he brings everything back to you and he swims and he calls when he comes back. But somebody gets so excited he just wants to run, and he doesn't always come back. So I've learnt the lesson. Do not give up with the wee doggies. We're going to sing the song. Do not give up. Here we go.
Do not give
remember, do not give up. And remember especially about God, never give up on God, but He certainly never gives up on you. See you next time. Bye.